significant milestone for India's moon mission. Chandrayaan-2 successfully enters lunar orbit after nearly 30 days of journey in space. Congratulating the ISRO team, Prime Minister Narendra Modi says this mission is a unique one and it will study and explore the South Pole region of the lunar terrain, which has not been explored by any past mission. Delhi High Court rejects anticipatory bail plea of Congress leader and former Union Finance Minister P Chidambaram in corruption and money laundering cases relating to INX Media scandal. Both the CBI and ED had opposed Chidambaram's plea on the ground that his custodial interrogation was required as he was evasive during questioning. Life returning to normal in Jammu and Kashmir, landline services restored in many places in the state. Schools open. Administration wants people to remain wary of rumour mongers. High-level committee chaired by Union Home Minister Amit Shah approves over 4,432 crore rupees of additional central assistance to natural calamity-affected states of Odisha, Karnataka and Himachal Pradesh. The committee also reviews ongoing flood situation in different parts of the country. Relief and rescue operations on war footing as rain and floods wreak havoc in most states of North India. 35 lives lost in Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Flood-like situation in many parts of Punjab and Haryana. Flood alert continues for Delhi NCR. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar in Bangladesh in a crucial two-day visit pays respects to Father of the Nation of Bangladesh, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, holds talks on bilateral issues of mutual importance with his Bangladeshi counterpart. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister of Latvia, Krišjānis Kariņš, have a one-on-one meeting. Vice President will also address India-Latvia Business Forum meeting. Hello and welcome. You're watching DD India and DD News with me, Munmun Bhattacharya. Let's get started with our top story. In a major milestone for India's moon mission, the Chandrayaan-2 spacecraft successfully entered the lunar orbit this morning. The duration of the maneuver was 1,738 seconds, beginning from 2 minutes past 9 this morning. ISRO tweeted the duration of the maneuver was 1,738 seconds. With this, Chandrayaan-2 was successfully inserted into a lunar orbit. Following this, a series of orbit maneuvers will be performed on Chandrayaan-2 spacecraft to enable it to enter its final orbit, passing over the lunar poles at a distance of about 100 kilometers from the moon's surface. Subsequently, the lander will separate from the orbiter and enter into a 100-kilometer into 30 kilometers orbit around the moon. Then it will perform a series of complex braking maneuvers to soft land in the south polar region of the moon on 7 September. Chandrayaan-2, launched on 22nd July by GSLV Mark III M1 vehicle, had entered the lunar transfer trajectory on 14th August. ISRO chairman briefed the media on lunar orbit insertion of Chandrayaan-2. K. Sivan said the Chandrayaan-2 mission crossed a major milestone today as Chandrayaan-2 entered the lunar orbit at around 9 a.m. He added that Chandrayaan-2 was precisely inserted into the defined orbit.
Today, the Chandrayaan-2 mission crossed a major milestone. And the precise lunar orbit insertion maneuver carried out at 9 o'clock for about 30 minutes precisely injected the Chandrayaan-2 in a defined orbit in a perfect way. As we are aware, in order to achieve the required location for soft landing near South Pole, that is to achieve the moon orbit with the inclination of 90 degrees. This is a unique requirement only Chandrayaan has, which no other moon mission has.
After the lunar orbit insertion today, lander Vikram will soft land on the moon on the 7th of next month. ISRO chief said that precisely at 1:55 a.m. Indian Standard Time, the lander will land on the moon.
On 7th, early morning, 1 o'clock and 40 minutes, 1:40, the powered descent starts, and next 15 minutes at 1:55 the lander will be landing at a site 71 degrees south of equator, moon's equator, with a 22.8 degree east. After landing on the lunar surface, 2 hours later, the ramp in the lander will come down and touch the ground, and then 3 hours 10 minutes later, the solar panel of the rover will be deployed, and the 3 hours 15 minutes the lander will start move from the rover will start from the lander, and at 4 hours the lander will be touching on the moon surface. This is our plan, and I am sure that the precision with which our LOI and the TLI we have carried out, I am sure that we will be able to achieve the successful landing on moon on 7th by 1:55.
ISRO chief termed the entire process of touching the moon's surface as a mixed feeling full of happiness and anxiety.
Everybody's the eyes will be glued to the console, and the only thing is that because of the advanced technologies, the telemetry parameters we will be seeing, and by continuously seeing these parameters, some parameters by itself will be showing that it is we are in the right direction. This type of feeling we will get. So at the same time, what going to be the next moment, that anxiety also will be there. So it will be a mixed feeling of that the happiness and the tension and more anxiety that will be there.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated ISRO on Twitter. In a tweet, he said, "Congratulations to Team ISRO on Chandrayaan-2 entering the moon's orbit. This is an important step in the landmark journey to the moon. Best wishes for its successful culmination." The Delhi High Court today refused to grant anticipatory bail to former Union Minister and Congress leader P Chidambaram in relation to the INX Media case. The INX Media case pertains to the alleged irregularities in the Foreign Investment Promotion Board clearance to INX Media in 2007. P Chidambaram was the finance minister then. The CBI and ED say that P Chidambaram and his son Karti Chidambaram received illegal gratification from INX Media owners Peter and Indrani Mukherjee for the clearance. Indrani Mukherjee is presently an approver in the case. Chidambaram contended that at the stage of bail, the court need not look into the merits of the case. Chidambaram said that the court needed to satisfy itself on 3 conditions before granting bail, that is, the absence of flight risk, no risk of evidence tampering, and accused being available for further investigation. Agencies opposed the bail plea. The agencies claimed that Chidambaram was evasive and non-cooperative when he appeared for questioning in relation to the case. Karti Chidambaram was granted bail in the case by the High Court last year. And for more on this, our correspondent Anil Punia joins us now on the phone line. Anil, can P Chidambaram be arrested anytime now by investigating agencies? Can he be taken into custody for interrogation?
So far legal position is concerned, the High Court rejected the anticipatory bail. Now it's totally discretion of the investigating agency, either CBI or the enforcement directors. Any times they can arrest him. He has no option. Prior to this High Court order, he was getting every time from different court arrest protection. There is a difference between the anticipatory and arrest protection. Arrest protection is the temporary provision for a certain period, 1 week, 2 weeks or 3 weeks. From different lower court, Chidambaram was getting every times arrest protections. And after so many times, he moved the anticipatory bail before the High Court, and the High Court heard it at large. So far, Prevention of Money Laundering Act and CBI also, But ED was saying that he is not cooperating the investigating agencies, and some development has arisen during the investigation. Indrani Mukherjee, who is the beneficiary of this transfer of the money, has been approver for the agency. So during this new development, their custodial interrogation and interrogation with the other accused is necessary. On these two grounds, High Court rejected the anticipatory bail, and now agency can arrest Mr. Chidambaram any times. He has no option, just he can move to the Supreme Court. His lawyer moved an applications and said that give me the 2 days protection so that I can move to the Supreme Court, but the High Court reject that applications also. Now there is no option. So far Chidambaram is concerned, he can move to the Supreme Court, which is not easy to get the relief from the Supreme Court itself.
So is that the legal recourse that P Chidambaram can take, which was telling us that his lawyer has already indicated?
No, his lawyer was saying that we are moving to the Supreme Court, but so far Supreme Court is concerned, the urgent matter, every time there Supreme Court will seek that what is the urgency, go and cooperate to the investigating agency, why you came here. That will be happened in the Supreme Court, but they are moving to the Supreme Court and challenging the order of this High Court that we should grant the anticipatory bail. But so far ED is concerned, they are very keen to arrest him, and custodial interrogation is mandatory, and the High Court given the signal, okay, go ahead and you can arrest him. Though Chidambaram is not protected from the court. So far other cases is concerned, he was getting the arrest protection in the Aircel Maxis case, but in INX Media, ED can arrest any times, and Chidambaram has the only option to move the Supreme Court, which is not easy to get the relief from the Supreme Court immediate basis.
Anil, could you take us in detail the charges that are there against P Chidambaram and his son Karti Chidambaram? Also, is the investigation likely to get sharper going forward, considering that, like you've told us, Indrani Mukherjee has already turned approver in this case?
ED has already investigated the matter, and in 2018 Karti Chidambaram has been arrested by the ED. But later on, after getting the remand and after giving the judicial custody, Chidambaram's son Karti Chidambaram moved to the High Court, and High Court granted him the bail. So Karti Chidambaram is on bail so far this case is concerned. Plus P Chidambaram was never arrested. He was getting the protection from the lower court, from different courts, but he moved to the anticipatory. Anticipatory bail is the provision for a permanent relief to the accused. If the anticipatory has been granted from the Supreme Court, then there is no option with the investigating agency just to file the charge sheet without arresting. Now the investigating agency has the right and the open space to get and arrest any time to the Chidambaram, and Chidambaram has no option but to move to the Supreme Court, which is very rare and impossible, I can say, to get the relief from the Supreme Court on immediate basis.
Was the order in this case, Anil, reserved earlier by the court on the 25th of January?
Can you repeat your question, please?
Was the order in this case reserved earlier by the court?
Yes, it was reserved in January this year, and the in 25th of January it was reserved. But later on, ED have moved an application and to assist the court that these are the new development that Indrani Mukherjee has been approver for the agencies. So, in the light of the new developments, court give this verdict. I think that move of the ED was very effective during the argument.
Right, Anil. Thank you for those updates. Union Home Minister Amit Shah reviewed the issues related to the final publication of the National Register of Citizens in Assam. The review meeting was attended by Chief Minister of Assam, Union Home Secretary, Chief Secretary of Assam and senior officers. Extensive deliberations have been held on the issue between the Home Ministry and the state government of Assam in recent weeks. It was decided to felicitate the persons excluded from NRC Adequate arrangements will be made by the state government to provide full opportunity to appeal against their non-inclusion. And our correspondent Sudhakar is joining us with more details. Sudhakar, what's come out of the deliberations between the Union Home Ministry and the state government of Assam on the issue of the publication of the NRC?
Yes, Munmun, it was very important meeting and it was attended by Chief Minister of Assam and Chief Secretary of Assam. Also, Union Home Secretary was also present in this meeting, and the Home Ministry in a release said ahead of publication of the final NRC on 31st of August, it has said that adequate arrangements will be made for people to appeal against non-inclusion and the list of Assam residents. It has also said that every individual whose name does not figure in final NRC can represent his or her case in front of foreigner tribunals. And this is very significant because the Home Ministry has also said that non-inclusion of a person's name in NRC does not by itself amount to him or her being declared as a foreigner. So it's a kind of you can say that people can still appeal to the foreigner tribunal after release of the final list. The Home Ministry also said that right now the present time limit of filing of appeals is around 60 days. It is 60 days, and the Home Ministry said that it will amend the rules to increase the present time limit from 60 days to 120 days, so that each and every case people can appeal to the foreigner tribunal. It has also said that in order to maintain law and order situation in the state before publication of the final list, it has provided paramilitary forces for the help of state police. So the situation reviewed by Home Minister at this high-level meeting, and the government, the union government and the state government are saying that still the people who is left in the list, still they will have an option to file an appeal, and unless the foreigners tribunal says so, no one will be declared as a foreigner.
And will the decision of the foreigners tribunal be final in this case?
Yes, Munmun, that is what the Home Ministry has said. And in this case also, adequate time will be given to the people who is left in the list. We know that last year when the draft publication and the final list is published, around 40 lakh people name excluded in those lists. So on August 31st, there will be a final list, or you will know the names or the numbers of the excluded people. They will have an option to file an appeal before the foreigners tribunal. For this, the government is ready to give adequate time, and the time limit is going to be increased from 60 days to 120 days for filing an appeal.
Sudhakar, has the state government also said that it will be offering legal aid to those who are needy among those who would be excluded from the NRC list once it's published on the 31st of August?
Yes, and this is also important as far as state government has agreed to set up, also said that it will set up adequate number of tribunals at convenient location so that people could file appeal. And also it has decided that it will also make arrangements to provide legal aid to the needy people among those excluded from the NRC. So each and every one, whether it is poor or it's people who cannot get from anyone, they can get from the state government through these legal aids also.
So, Sudhakar, what is being done in order to maintain law and order at the time when the publication of the NRC will take place in the state?
But Munmun, we know that when last year the draft and the final list published earlier, adequate number of paramilitary forces were sent to the state, and we know that there was no problem on the front of law and order situation. So government is hoping with the help of paramilitary forces which are being provided for deployment as per assessment of the state government. This time also there will be no law and order problem as far as this issue is concerned.
So, Zakir, is the state government considering any legal intervention, especially after the Supreme Court said that there would be no extension beyond the 31st August deadline, and there will be no re-verification or resampling allowed for verification purposes? Is the government considering any legal step on that?
Munmun, we know that this case is going on in Supreme Court. Supreme Court is hearing this case, and earlier there were some options given by the union government and as well as state government, but finally Supreme Court has asked to publish the list of excluded people by August 31st. So right now the final list, and you can say the list which is for excluded people, is going to be published on August 31st, and after that there may be some appeal by state government, but right now it is not final. They are preparing for this publication of the list, and also they said that all the help, including extended time for appeal, including legal, these kinds of help will be given to those people who are excluded.
Right, Sudhakar, thank you for those updates. Racing her way to the top, Aishwarya Pise created history by becoming the first Indian to claim a world title in motorsports. The 23-year-old from Bengaluru lifted the FIM World Cup in the women's category after the final round of the championship in Hungary. Our correspondent Ashok Martolia talks to Aishwarya.
I have with me Aishwarya Pise, the first Indian to ever win a world title in motorsports. Aishwarya, many congratulations. It is a huge success for you personally. You know, in India, motorbike is generally considered for women. So in such a scenario, what does this medal mean for you?
Thank you firstly for having me, and this medal or this title means or gives hope to all the motorsport fraternity in India, and I think for me alone it is a stepping stone towards my bigger goal, which is Dakar.
Tell me a bit about your journey. When did you started doing motorsports, and what was your parents' first reaction when you step into the circuit?
I started riding when I was 18. I started it as a passion initially. Over the course, I started training for racing, then I started racing, and then it became my career when TVS racing came along. So that's pretty much how motorcycles started for me.
Do you think that being as a woman, it is very difficult for you to make a place?
This was considered a male-dominated sport because primarily only men participated. But over the course from the time I have started, it has been changing. But I wouldn't say it's been easy, but definitely it's not impossible for a woman to make a mark in this sport.
Motorsports is generally considered very dangerous. So how do you prepare mentally yourself when you go into circuit?
So my training is not during a race. It happens before the race, where on a regular basis I have 3 days of training at a gym, where it includes a lot of physical conditioning, mental conditioning, which includes a lot of meditation and stimulating a race situation into a training situation to be able to train on it to perform better at a race. Also, my training includes 3 days of riding on the bike, which helps me work on my skills and get better.
You have created history. Now, what next for you in motorsports?
For me, next is my Indian National Rally Championship this year. That's happening. The next round is in Coimbatore this weekend. So I'm preparing for that. And along with it, I start training for my more international races this year.
Okay. Do you think that motorsports should be included in Olympic or Asian Games?
I definitely think there should be more support from the government for motorsports. That's pretty much what I think.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you.
And we end this newscast with a special tribute to legendary music composer Khayyam. We leave you with some of the melodious music composed by him.
कभी मेरे दिल में ख्याल Hi.